Hey, what's up, everybody? Look at what we're going to be learning today. We're going to talk about learning how to install a ceiling fan from scratch. So stay tuned, and we'll get going right on this project. But I'm going to try and do another home improvement project to generate some original content for you guys. So we're going to take a look at that today. I'm in my bedroom right now, and we're going to be installing a ceiling fan in here today. So let's take a look at what I have for some tools, and we're going to talk about kind of what the situation is right now and what the plan is moving forward. All right, so here we have my tools kind of like prepared, right? My red bag is my electrical bag. I've got my bucket with just a lot of generic tools. I have my drills in my rigid bag here. And then a couple things that are going to be specific to today's job. So this saw here, so it's called a keyhole saw, which honestly on that it's harder to see. So we'll put it back on the carpet. This is called a keyhole saw. Keyhole saws or they could also be called a jab saw. They're designed to go through drywall and put electrical openings inside of those. Okay, so I have a keyhole saw because I'm going to need to cut a hole in my ceiling. Over here, I have 14-3 Romex cable, right? So remember, 14 is the gauge. 14 gauge wire always comes in white wire these days, where 12 gauge comes in yellow. That's not true maybe like 50 years ago or so, but that is 100% the case these days. Remember, the 3 here means that there's 3 conductors. So there's 3 conductors in this wire plus a ground. So there's a white and a black, just like always, and then there's a red, which if you remember back from the 3-way switch up lesson, the red is like the 3rd conductor inside there. The reason why I'm running a 14-3 wire is because the ceiling fan has both a light and a fan in it. So one of these conductors is going to power my fan, while the other one powers the light itself.
So guys, as I'm going through this project here, I'm talking about connecting the fan and the light separately. Turns out that the fan works just fine the way that I plan to do it, but the light itself is not working because the driver for the LEDs are built into the remote control system. So I still need to figure that out a little bit. So I'm setting it up so that they can be run separately. But as of right now, I haven't figured out how to do that. But hopefully by the time you get through the multiple part series here, I'll have that all worked out and we'll go from there.
Currently, right now, I have my switch in my bedroom operates an outlet, a split outlet. So when we open that up, we're going to have a better idea as to like what we actually need to do to remove that split outlet from the circuit and run our new wire. But I have a new outlet here because on my other outlet, I'm pretty sure that it's split in the middle here. So we could usually you could do a bridge between them if you split these 2 pieces apart. But I have a extra outlet kicking around, so I'm gonna probably just install a new one. And then we have this, which is one of the most important things here besides the wire, I guess, itself. This is a ceiling fan support box. You can't just put a ceiling fan in any box. They're a lot heavier than a typical light due to the fact that they move. They have a lot more momentum. And if you just attach it to a regular box, the likelihood is that it would just pull right out. So you need to have more support than you would for a typical ceiling light. So this box is a remodeled box, and basically it's designed so that we can I think I got to read the directions, but unscrew this and the thing's going to expand between 2 of my joists. And there's little, like, you'll see it later on, there's little pieces here that are going to jab into the wood. I'll show you that later on some more. Alright, so I'm at my switch right now, and unlike usual, I haven't turned off the power yet. I do have electrical tape around my connectors, so I am safe, but I'm also being super careful right now as I go to control this thing. So the thing that I want to show you right now is one of these black wires is going to my outlet, one of these black wires is coming up, and that's the power coming into the switch. So while the switch is off, okay, in the off position here, if I put my detector up top here, you can see that it beeps. But if I put my connector on the bottom here, my detector rather, on the bottom, you can notice that it doesn't beep. So that means that there's AC power coming into the top. There's no AC power coming into the bottom. Now, if I were to flip this on, now you can see that the bottom is also beeping, okay? So what that means is that the top wire is my power in, and the bottom wire is my power out, my switch out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna label this with like a piece of electrical tape quick, so I know that that's my power in, because I need to keep that. And then the power out, I'm gonna basically be terminating. All right, so here I'm at the outlet at the other end of my switch, and I made the wrong assumption. Both of these outlets are actually powered by the switch. And there's only one wire actually coming in there that you can see from the back, right? Or one cable. That's the word I'm looking for, cable coming in. Which means that it's only being powered off of the switch. So we need to change course a little bit here, and I'm gonna just wire this up in the switch box so that it's always on, and I won't really have to do anything on this end, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that shortly. Alright, so let's take a look at this schematic here. The dotted line represents the white neutral cable, and then the black line represents the hot cable that we have right now. So here I have my power coming in, okay? And the power coming in, first of all, the neutrals are just wire nutted together inside, and then they continue on to the outlet, right? But then the hot wires are broken by the switch, which is represented by this. And when you close the switch, it connects these two wires together, and then that allows power to come to both of these outlets over here. So, I'm going to replace this switch with my double switch, and I'm also going to have power coming in. And what we're going to do is we're going to wire nut this together. So let me show you kind of like what's going to happen next. Okay, so when we look at this, by the way, I think I forgot to mention the fact that I don't have any of the ground wires included just to make things easier to see for right now. But when we look at this, this is my switch box without a switch in it at this point. This is my outlet box again. So my plan at this point is inside the existing switch box, I'm going to run my black wire, and instead of being on a switch to connect it when you want it to be connected or not connected, we're going to wire nut those together. Okay, so it's going to be constantly, this is just basically going to act as a junction box, and we're going to connect this black wire to the other black wire, and then that's going to come over here. And then the neutral wire is going to come over here. So what that is going to do for us is that's going to connect the outlet constantly to power. Okay, but now we need to add our fan box as well. So let's take a look at this, and I'll try to do the camera at the same time, right? So our fan box, which we'll just label as like an octagonal box here. Our fan box here, we're going to have 3 cables coming to it, remember. Okay, we're going to have a black, a red, and our whites. So, similar to anything else, your neutral is always just going to continue through. Okay, so my neutral is going to continue up to my fan box, something like that. My hot, down here, this is always on, right? So my hot, I'm going to add a jumper cable to my hots, and then that's going to get split off to 2 switches, which we will represent like this. Okay, so we have our first switch and we have our second switch, something like that. Okay, both ends of this switch are going to be connected up to this constant power, okay? But then if we switch this leg down, it would touch this wire, complete the circuit in theory. Switch this leg down, it would touch the wire, complete the circuit in theory, okay? So off of here, one of these wires is going to be my black wire, and just like the white wire, it's going to get run up to here. And then one of these wires is going to be a red wire, which I guess I'll just kind of like draw some triangles to represent the red wire. Okay, so the neutral's gonna come up here. So now up here we have our fan. Okay, and our fan on our black, let's just say, although it might be red, you know, it depends later on, but probably on our black, we're gonna put the lights on the black wire. And then we're gonna put the fan on the red wire. And then coming off of those to complete the circuit, they're both gonna get wire nutted back to here. So if I only throw, like, let's say this switch on, then the power will come in, it'll come across, it'll go through the red wire, turn the fan on, it'll come back through the neutral, go back to the power, to like my power panel, right? If I were to flip the other switch, now power can go through both this one and this one, go through the red like we just outlined, or through the hot, the black, to your lights, and then again, back to your neutral. So realistically, I should have labeled these better. These are going to be like white wires, jumper wires that come back to the neutral there. Okay, so that's the plan here. I'm just going to wire nut the outlet together, put a little jumper wire on it, and then start going through there. The big part of this project is not like the switch itself. It's running all the wire. I have to go in my attic, run all the wire, cut the hole, go through all of that install process. So
we're going to talk about that process next week when we talk about the rough install. And then the week after that, we're going to talk about wiring it all up. All right, guys, answer the questions, email me with any questions, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.